The crystal flutes were already raised when my father said it. "Emily, my greatest gift," he announced, voice smooth with practiced pride. "Thank you for giving me two perfect grandchildren. Like, comment, and subscribe Huna Stories for more stories." Applause rippled, smiles bloomed. My son tightened his fingers around mine. He leaned in, voice barely sound. But what about me? I felt it then. Not heartbreak, clarity. I didn't leave. I lifted my glass, and everything he'd built began to collapse. Years earlier, my father taught me how to balance a checkbook before he taught me how to ride a bike. Numbers mattered, he said. Proof mattered. Feelings didn't survive audits. Emily was always different, softer, praised louder, protected longer. When she announced her pregnancies, he glowed like he'd personally done the work. When my husband died, there were casseroles and condolences, then silence. I raised my son alone, paid the mortgage, worked nights, never asked. I thought endurance would earn me something. It earned me invisibility. The first crack came 6 months before the champagne. A phone call meant for someone else. My father's voice, sharp and pleased. "She doesn't need to know yet. The trust can be amended." I didn't hang up. I listened. Then I checked records quietly. Deeds, beneficiary updates, family LLC filings I'd helped organize years ago, back when I was good with details. Emily's name appeared where mine had been. My son's column was blank. Patterns formed, gifts disguised as gratitude. College funds announced publicly, never mentioned to me. Estate planning dinners I wasn't invited to. I didn't confront him. I prepared. Grief teaches patience if it teaches anything. I learned to sit with pain without flinching. I met with an attorney I trusted, not to fight, to observe. I pulled every document I'd ever signed for him. Every time I'd been a witness, a co-signer, a fixer, he had leaned on me for decades. He underestimated the weight. I created copies, trails, timestamps. I said nothing. Then came the anniversary dinner, his 70th. Black tie, white tablecloths, a photographer hired to capture legacy. My son wore the navy suit we bought secondhand. He stood straight anyway. Emily glowed. Her children were paraded like trophies. I knew the speech was coming. I could feel it in my father's chest, how he inhaled before praise. When he spoke, I watched the room, not him. I watched who nodded, who avoided my eyes. When my son whispered his question, something settled. This wasn't about inheritance, it was about erasure. I stood slowly. The room hushed, assuming gratitude. I clinked my glass once. "I just want to say how grateful I am," I began, voice calm, steady, "to have grown up learning the value of family, of fairness." My father smiled, relief. He thought this was obedience. "I've been thinking a lot about gifts," I continued, "the ones we give and the ones we take without saying so." A ripple of confusion. "So tonight," I said, "I brought one." I nodded to the photographer. He hesitated, then displayed the image on the screen behind us, my father's request earlier to show family memories. But it wasn't a photo, it was a document, highlighted, time-stamped. Gasps cut the air. I turned to him. "Remember when you asked me to help restructure the trust after Mom died?" I asked softly. "You said it was temporary." His face strained. "I never told anyone," I went on, "because I believed you, because I believed fairness wasn't performative." I clicked again. Emails, amendments, a note thanking Emily for understanding discretion. My father reached for his glass, missed, choked. I didn't raise my voice. "I also learned something else from you," I said, "that leverage is only dangerous when someone doesn't know they have it." I gestured to my attorney, who stood near the exit, polite as a shadow. "The filings you moved quietly, they required consent. Mine, which you forged." Silence pressed in. "The LLC dissolved this morning. Perfectly legal. The properties revert, including the one Emily lives in." Emily's smile shattered. My father tried to speak, failed. I crouched beside my son, met his eyes. "You matter," I said, loud enough. Then I stood. "I won't take what isn't given freely," I finished, "but I won't allow what's stolen to stand." I placed my glass down untouched. "I'm leaving now," I said, "with my son, with my integrity, and with the quiet satisfaction of knowing legacy isn't what you announce, it's what survives scrutiny." I turned before anyone could clap. Weeks later, the dust settled. There were calls, apologies shaped like excuses. I didn't answer. The trust was corrected, publicly, my son's name restored, not as charity, as acknowledgement. My father stopped hosting dinners. Emily stopped calling. He survived without ceremony. Some nights I replay the moment my son whispered his question, not with anger, with gratitude, because revenge isn't rage. This precision and justice doesn't shout, it waits. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe Huna Stories for more stories.